So hi, welcome to Good Noise Podcast. We're here with a few good records. We're going to ask them some questions today. I'm going to start. What inspired you guys to start the label?
So it actually was a thing. I started a few good records years ago. I used to be in this band called Bedtime Stories. We were basically like listener or more mellow, La Dispute type stuff. And it was just my own personal imprint to release our catalog of music. We ended up doing some stuff with some friends of ours. But back in the day, we partnered with my friend James on doing an Against Me tribute compilation. And the label sat defunct for a few years just because I wasn't active in writing and recording music anymore. But last year I turned 30, and as I was approaching that crisis-inducing milestone, I decided I wanted to do something that would help, whether to a degree, getting back into doing something music related where I was contributing a little more, and the idea of bringing the label back in a totally different environment where we could do all these really cool compilations and associate them to various charities, because honestly I wasn't really concerned on the little amount of money I made on any of the releases with my own bands. It never made a fucking dent in my bank account anyway, so I had no problem donating any of it. So we decided that that's how we would do things going forward. We could at least whatever impact we could make, we would. So every release we've put around a different charity, and we've just been kind of working on that for the last year and a half under that new format.
Yeah, I like what you guys are doing, the whole charity thing. How do you guys pick what charities you're going to donate for the various compilations?
Some of them are just very like on the fly. Like when we started, it was like a 7-song EP, and we just picked Rain just because we didn't really put too much thought. We were like, what's a good charity? Rain. Cool, sure, fuck it, why not?
Okay.
And then as we went, we did start thinking of different themes. We did a Disney compilation for Planned Parenthood, and I was pretty tongue-in-cheek with the headspace on why that, with the thought of the idea of going to Disney World with children is enough birth control for me.
Wow. And I feel like that partially came from when I was telling you, because my normal like doctor's office is a Planned Parenthood,
right?
And they were like on the edge of closing down,
right? Obviously, in
I was
this
like, fuck,
awful
like
Trump America, great resources like Planned Parenthood,
and I work
trouble.
and I live in a rural-ish area of New York State. Was like, this is the only one for like fucking 50 miles around.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Right. So the timing, it just happened to be when we were cooking that one up, and I had always wanted to do some kind of like Disney covers comp for years when I first did the label, back when it was just an imprint for my own band.
Yeah.
I had wanted to do something like that, and it never got off the ground, and so that was like the motivation to get that going.
Okay.
And then some of them are very like, I guess we can say common sense. Like our holiday compilation, Toys for Tots, makes perfect fucking sense for that one.
Yeah.
When it came to our most recent release, we put out this Wonder Years tribute compilation. We actually asked Dan from the Wonder Years back in December what organization he would like to see it go to. So he picked Racist Texas to help with legal representation for immigrants and people that were detained at the border, kind of deal. But then obviously the global pandemic happened, so we decided it would have been a good call to split the proceeds between Racist Texas and Get Us PPE to get protective equipment to hospital workers.
Yeah.
Yeah, since when we were asking Dan where the proceeds should go was mid-December.
Yes, it was before
knowing that this was like
happened.
a spring release.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
that was like way before everything like went down.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We obviously had no idea what was to come.
And we even like reach out to him to ask like, hey, with everything going on in the world, like,
would it be cool if we split this? And he was so gracious. He was very in the headspace of, this is your project, not mine. I don't want to impose. Do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So that was really, really cool of Dan to let us have our way with it. But I wanted to keep him as informed and to a degree as involved as possible, because it was a tribute compilation to his fucking band. And he was so cool with letting us do it. And he set us up with a contact at Hopeless Records about it. Unfortunately, nothing happened there. But he was nothing but an amazing extension as far as being in contact with and working with him throughout all.
That's good to hear.
Yeah, that's awesome. Gloria, I know you have questions to ask, but I'm going to keep on going.
Yeah,
do you guys know if he checked out the compilation?
So when it came out, he was. I haven't heard from him in a couple of weeks at this point. Okay. But when it came out, I sent him the link. He was going to check it out, and then after the weekend that it came out, we ended up raising all this money. We ended up being able to send $600 to each charity.
Oh, that's awesome.
And Dan said every time he had started listening, he has a 1-year-old. So his kid needed him for something. So at the time, he hadn't been able to sit down with enough time, because it's a pretty long compilation.
Oh, yeah.
It's almost 30 songs. So he hadn't had the time to sit and listen to everything. But that was a couple of weeks ago. I actually just hit him up tonight about we just manufactured all the cassette copies for the release.
Oh, cool.
About sending him a copy of that. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Awesome. Cool. So are you guys planning on doing any more compilations in the future?
Yes.
Yeah, we have
a couple.
I feel like we how we plan things is we always have like, I'd say about 2 big ones a year.
Okay.
And 2 like given
a couple
ones.
Small, yeah.
Okay.
And we're actually, so we're working on, we're working on one right now, but we've partnered up with another like management group on a second release that we're going to handle the cassette pressings for. They're putting together a Saves the Day tribute compilation.
Okay.
Okay.
Which we're just going to handle the cassette pressing for. And that's a whole tribute album to Stay What You Are.
Okay. I think I saw that floating
really
around
cool.
somewhere.
Yeah, it's a lot of New Jersey bands. I know Feller, who's been on a few of our releases, is going to cover At Your Funeral. I don't remember anyone else off the top of my head who's going to be on that comp, but that's something that there's talks about that being ready for August or September.
Cool.
But meanwhile, we're working on a compilation of all covers of songs from Tony Hawk games.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, when they announced the remaster like a week ago, that idea kind of just popped into my head, and I was like, we should do that, and we should release it around the time the games come out. So we're in the very early stages. We've probably got about 15 bands already on board for it. We're absolutely looking for as many bands as possible. So if anybody listening goes, that sounds really fucking cool, let's do it, you're more than welcome to hit me up.
Please hit us up.
We want this one to be off the fucking chain again. We're probably just gonna send all the proceeds to Tony Hawk's charity to help build skate parks in less fortunate communities.
Yeah, it's the Tony Hawk Foundation. They build like skate parks in like lower income communities. There's also a few of more local, like New Jersey and New York City foundations that it might get split with.
Okay.
Because there's a few foundations within that it's a skateboarding and mentoring program.
Yeah, we haven't totally decided 100% where it will go to, but it's going to be something in that realm.
Okay.
Just to keep it in line with the overall theme of the record.
Yeah.
We try to at least find a way to mentally logic what organization and what release.
Yeah.
Hence the Planned Parenthood Disney comment I made
Yeah.
before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just want to say real quick, because you cut me off, Shane. I'm going to cut you off. I just want to say real quick, I love what you guys are doing. Just
Thank
like
you.
how you coordinate like the charities with the records and the collaborations and everything. I think it's amazing, just the amount of thought and just like connecting everything. I think it's great. So I just want to say that real
So
quick.
much. We
Thank
really
you.
appreciate that.
Yeah.
It means a lot. It's what we're trying to bring some kind of positive impact into everything we've done. Over the last like I said, it's been about 1.5 years since we kind of rebooted the label in a sense.
Okay.
Yeah. That's awesome.
And yeah, and I think we've brought a lot of really cool bands in. We've cool themed compilations outside of the ones we talked about. We did a compilation for ACLU that was very much like a very anti-Donald Trump compilation.
Okay.
All right.
We did a comp for Nashville when the tornado hit, literally 2 weeks before the COVID pandemic really broke out stateside. There was this gnarly tornado that hit East Nashville, destroyed a whole lot of area. My brother lives down there, so that was very near and dear.
Yeah.
And that was like in the span of like a 1.5 weeks, we got like 24 bands in on it.
Wow.
Including bands like Future Teens, You Mean Everyone We Know, Baggage, which is ex-Swellers, Dogleg, Keep Flying, and a bunch of other like smaller scale bands too.
Yeah.
So that was fun. Everybody was very enthusiastic to kind of jumping in on that one.
That's cool. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Yeah, what Glory said I was actually going to save until the end, so Glory stole the words right out of my mouth, so I do agree with her on that front. Since we're all stuck at home, what bands have you guys been listening to?
Oh my god. Obviously with leading up to this compilation, I've personally been listening to a lot of the Wonder Years and Aaron West and the Roaring Twenties, although over the last week it's literally been nonstop Tony Hawk soundtrack music.
Okay.
Because I've been very much in the headspace of whatever we've been working on.
Okay.
Makes sense.
A lot of the Menzingers. Ari, what have you been listening to?
I've been listening to Spanish love songs on repeat for God knows how long.
Yeah,
I've
at
heard
this
that
point.
album's good, yeah.
Yeah.
And what else? I've been listening to a lot of podcasts, honestly.
Okay.
Mainly because, like, I'm out of work right now, and I used to have a very long commute to work. And podcasts were, like, what I would listen to when I was driving, so it gives me, like, a sense of normalcy in the morning.
I get that.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, oh yeah, this is normally the time that I'm, like, up and drinking my coffee and driving and just listening to a podcast.
Okay.
This is what I'm going to stick with because it makes me feel comfortable.
Sure.
Yeah.
What podcasts though?
Yeah.
I was just about to ask that.
I want to know. I don't listen to enough podcasts. Give me something besides the Office ladies to listen to.
You see, I never got into The Office, so I don't...
Right, give me something different to listen to. Like,
Well, they don't need any more fucking promotion, but last podcast on the left, obviously. What else? I've been listening to back issues of On the Impossible Pod because Menzingers.
Okay.
I love listening to like an hour discourse about every song on that album.
That's completely
that was fun.
understandable. Yeah.
Solid.
I hope you're not listening to the episode we were on though.
I've never listened to it. I've never listened to the episode we're on. I don't need to hear that.
That's fair.
Yeah.
So, okay. So are you guys planning on making any more compilations where it's themed around a specific artist, like how you did with the Wonder Years? Like, I know you guys mentioned the Tony Hawk soundtrack, but are you guys planning on doing one with an artist or a band?
We're not opposed to it. As of right now, nothing's come to mind outside of the Tony Hawk compilation. and I mean, obviously, besides the Saves the Day one that we're really just handling the physical copies of, we had plans for, we don't know timeline-wise what's going to come first or second. We talked about doing a volume 2 of Disney's Birth Control. We talked about doing a album and zine companion piece called Now That's What I Call Music to Drink Beers and Cry To.
Okay, I like that.
The proceeds will go towards some sort of suicide prevention awareness organization. We didn't quite decide whether that's Trevor Project or something else at the moment. Those are probably going to be the next couple after Tony Hawk, but we'll probably do another holiday one. I want to do holiday comps annually and just have that be Toys for Tots every year, because
we're both Christmas people, so
we're big Christmas people around here.
We became friends being Santa's elves animal.
That's true. I was between jobs and needed something really quick.
Yeah.
And Ari was managing one of those like get your picture with Santa sets at a mall. And that's how we met. I was like, I need fast money. And it was like first week of November. So they like were just getting started. So I walked up and I was like, hey, you need help?
Yeah.
And it was literally like a 2-sentence job interview on the spot. It was, what's your availability? Do you want a job?
They shouldn't have let me interview people, honestly.
And seven. Yeah, she was the one.
Oh
in
yeah,
charge.
I was
She's
the head elf in charge.
Head elf.
Oh my god, that's so cool.
Put that on your resume.
Yeah, 7.5 years later, here we are, still best friends and running this label together.
That's awesome. That is awesome. So I know you spoke about the Tony Hawk comp that you're putting together and how there's 15 bands already confirmed. Are you able to name any of those?
Talk about it. As of right now, it's mostly New Jersey based acts, or I guess now ex-New Jersey. Our friend Alex Grippo, who his solo project is called Awfully Good Times. He used to play in Frank Arrow and the Patience, which any My Chemical Romance fan knows who Frank is.
Yep.
And then more like North Jersey, Morris County based bands, like or solo acts, I guess, like Dylan Jacobus, who's out of Rockaway, New Jersey. Ed Allison, who I think is South Jersey, who did This Party Sucks on our Wonder Years comp, is going to do Jimmy Eat World as of right now. We have some Michigan-based bands. Fremont Pike, who did an all-time low cover for our Nashville comp, is talking about doing Melancholy for the compilation. Calendar Year, who did Hey Thanks, is between either doing a Joy Division or Buzzcocks cover. I don't want to give too much else away at the moment, just because it's still very early in the process. Yeah. But you'll see if you've listened to some of our other comps over the last year, you'll see some familiar names pop up.
Okay.
All right.
Cool. Looking forward to it. Definitely.
Hell yeah! Thanks.
Yeah. So, how do you guys pick the bands that you want to feature on the compilations?
Oh, we throw out in the very early stages of these comps, we throw out an open invitation. So a lot of the time with people hitting us up, we'll ask friends of ours. Calendar Year are good friends. My old band played a lot of shows with their old band. So there's a lot of that. Sometimes we'll just kind of shoot our shot with bigger bands, which is how we got involved with acts like Future Teens and Ska2 Network, which is kind of us sliding the DMs or hitting their @ on Twitter, and that's just how that went. And we've had both of them on multiple compilations so far at this point.
Oh, that's cool.
And like where I live, I'm in New York State, so I get a lot of local bands from there that I grew up with. That honestly, one of the bands that's going to be on the, they've done.
Well, Entropy was on our Nashville comp.
Yeah,
as well.
Entropy was on our Nashville comp.
And they're going to be on the Tony Hawk comp.
Yeah,
they're doing Suicide Machine.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, but that's a situation where I'm like, I've known them forever, and they threw out the idea of doing New Girl by Suicide Machines. I'm like, I'm running you guys down for that. You don't get a choice.
You're just doing it. You're done.
That's your job now.
So there's a little of everything. Sometimes it's people hitting us up. Sometimes it's us reaching out to friends. Sometimes it's us reaching out to random bands. There's a handful of bands that we were really close to having on the Wonder Years comp that, whether it was because of the pandemic, things weren't able to be finished, or touring logistics, things just kind of fell through. I guess we can name names at this point.
Yeah. The big two for those are...
Well, three, I would say. For the Wonder Years comp, we up until the last 2 weeks, you, me, and everyone we know were supposed to be on the comp.
Oh, shit.
Oh, wow.
But because of COVID complications, they had to drop. Proper was going to be on the comp, but Eric got really sick in the month right before the pandemic.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Which then led to production delays, and then the pandemic happened, so they couldn't get their stuff done.
Yeah.
And we almost had Spanish Love Songs.
Oh, shit.
But
Wow.
touring, like, they were super down. But they were about to go on tour in Europe with the Menzingers, and then immediately hop on a tour with the Wonder Years.
Yeah.
And they just logistically couldn't even put together like an acoustic cover in the time frame, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Wow.
But those were like our three big, like, they were either in and dedicated, or were very much like, we like this, we want to do it, but sorry, we just like
Can't.
timing is not great at the moment.
Yeah.
Kind of deal.
I get that.
But it's all good. You, Me, and Everyone We Know was on our Nashville comp. They gave us one of their new songs, and I'm sure Proper will be on something in the future. And fingers crossed, Spanish Love Songs aren't too busy in the pandemic to do something for us.
I mean, that's
Yeah,
still
that's
really
sick.
cool that like you even got those bands to be interested at some point in the process.
A lot,
It's called a fun game of just like
Harassing
not
them.
Not giving a shit?
not giving a shit,
Yeah.
and just being like, you know what? I'll DM this band right now.
Yeah, Glory and I have learned that very quickly for the interviews as
Yeah.
well. Just not giving a shit and shooting your shot and hoping they see
Yeah,
it.
it worked so
Exactly.
well.
It does. DMs are open, DMs closed, at them and tell them to check their DMs.
Exactly.
No,
You
when
have so
I
many
first
interviews.
put up Proper to be on a con, like, their DMs were closed, and I, like, tweeted at them. I was like, hey, your DMs are closed. I have a question for you guys.
yeah, that
Wow.
was amazing. Like,
Yeah.
that was all it took.
Yeah.
That's great. Yeah. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah, and there
And
were,
then
there
I
were a
just
lot of bands we
got
asked.
the email.
There were a lot of bands we asked that just never hit us back. Like, we asked Shortly, we asked. Oh my god, I couldn't even begin to tell you how many bands we asked. But then some of them were cool and hit us back. Dogleg were on our Nashville compilation.
That's cool.
Wow.
Man, there were so many. Like, it's at this point, it's almost exhausting thinking about who we asked. We asked Sonderbombs, we asked Prince Daddy, we asked Just Friends, and like,
Wow.
nobody has to reply to us. So I'm
Yeah.
not like trying to blow them up. It's just one of those like, we'll ask everyone. We talked to Oso Oso at a show,
Yeah.
and then just like emailed them, and unfortunately, just never heard back. One thing or another, I'm you know, things
Fingers
will
crossed.
happen the way
Yeah.
they're meant to.
Yeah, fingers crossed it happens at some point.
Yeah,
Exactly.
one of these days we'll
Yeah.
get shit going.
Hell yeah. So where do you see the label in the next 5 years?
In the next 5 years,
Yeah.
man, we live this one release at a time.
Okay. Yeah.
And I, like I mentioned, I started, I brought this back under the headspace of I wanna do something good, and obviously this is something I don't need to see any money back besides whatever I invest in physical content. I
Yeah.
want to break even and then just reinvest it. And
Okay.
other than that, everything goes to charity at this point. So I think for the Wonder Years comp, we'll sell like 10 tapes and I'll break even, and then the rest of the 50 just go to charity, which
Oh,
is
nice.
cool.
That's cool.
It's amazing.
But as far as like a 5-year plan, I don't know. I like the idea of keeping as DIY as possible. We do everything between the two of us. Ari does all of the artwork for the releases over the last year. Every single one of them have been her.
I even did artwork for the band that you started this with. So it's been-
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. So even when I
Shit.
first created this label a million years ago,
It's always been
our
their
first
artwork.
record was art that Ari had done. So it
That's
kind of
so
came
cool.
full circle to bring her back in first as an artist, and now she's involved with getting bands and other artists in on all the releases, but everything from Now That's What I Call Treason 45 up through the Wonder Years compilation, that's all her. Those have all been hand-drawn pieces that I've scanned in and done some minor. So that's been really cool, and now she's been involved since the Wonder Years comp and getting artists in, or since a couple
since Nashville.
Since Nashville at least.
Okay.
Getting bands involved. So she's been a lot more active on that front too now, which is cool. Whenever we do get around to, now this is what I call Music to Drink Beers and Cry to, that's a release she's 100% spearheading. That's one I'm going to be as hands-off as I possibly can be.
Cool.
So that'll be fun. So it's just the two of us for now. It would be cool to see it grow, but
We have
kind of like Asian Man Records, who've had 20 years of just Mike from Asian Man running things in a garage. I'm content with it just being us going forward and keeping them. I like the idea of the very limited run physical releases and then digital for whoever wants it, can support whatever causes we're associating to. I don't ever see this becoming our day job.
Yeah.
And I don't think we need it to either.
Okay. I get that. Just something off to the side.
Yeah. A little fun hobby that also raises money for charity. Then.
Yes, yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
That's 100% the way we've been looking at it. Is just we're gonna do this. We're gonna do whatever positive we can do in the time that we are doing it, and when we decide to stop, that'll just be the end of it, and there's no problem with that either.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. So oh my god. Okay, so for the last couple questions, we're gonna switch away from the record and compilations, and we're gonna go straight to death row. So if you're on death row, what would your last meal be?
Oh my
With a
god.
drink.
That's so. Mine would be probably both of us are vegan, by the way.
Okay.
We should probably throw that out there first. So there's some dietary restrictions going on.
Yeah.
I personally would probably do. There's this amazing sandwich joint in Ohio called Melt.
Okay.
That it's basically like gourmet grilled cheese, but they have a lot of vegetarian and vegan friendly options. I would get something from Melt as like my final meal.
Okay.
I don't know about you, Ari, because we
Wait, do you have a
usually
drink?
we go out to Riot Fest every year
Okay.
in Chicago, and we refuse to fly out because we can road trip and stop in Cleveland either on the way there or on the way back, and have Melt somewhere along the way on that trip. We
Yeah.
just find an excuse, like we're gonna stop in the middle of fucking Ohio and do our thing.
I respect it.
Yeah.
See, my death row meal. Oh shit, this is hard.
Ooh, this is the toughest question that's been thrown at you this whole time.
It's a very important question.
I agree.
It is super important, and I could just imagine the fucking jailers staring at me, getting mad at me taking this long to decide.
No, it's okay. It's okay.
It's okay. They might just shoot you while they're waiting for the
Honestly,
message,
if it's fucking last meal ever, like last thing I'll ever consume, mango slices with chili powder on them.
Okay.
I've
That's
never
such a
had that
weird
before.
meal. I don't think
That
I've
is a
ever
weird
had
meal.
chili powder on
Well,
mango.
it's not a real meal, but it's my favorite thing to eat. So,
I respect it.
Wait,
That's
Yeah, wait.
interesting. You're gonna
It is.
we're gonna have to do this. I've never that's such a weird palate combination
It is.
as far as the way my brain is thinking about
it's
it.
spicy and sweet.
Ooh.
Yeah, it sounds really weird.
Yeah.
I'm
I
not
might have to
opposed to
try
it. It just sounds very unusual. Yes, exactly. Like I'm very curious about it.
Yeah.
Like I'm not knocking it by any stretch. I'm just like,
Exactly.
what?
Never would have put the two together, but I'm down
Right.
to try it.
I mean,
I'm down to
Yeah.
try it.
sounds like it's good. Yeah, I mean. So, if you could live in one fictional world for a week, where would you live?
Middle Earth, done.
Easy.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yeah, Shire.
Yeah.
No question.
Solid.
We are huge Lord of the Rings fans at this label. I have 2 Tolkien tattoos.
Oh my god.
We've been planning on saving our money for 7 years now to get to the New Zealand.
We want to go
like
down to New
Middle
Zealand
Earth,
and,
like-
see and go see some of the Middle Earth locations they shot at. Yeah, that's like a big. That's our 5-year plan: is go to New Zealand and see Middle Earth.
I mean, that's a good plan.
There you go. Something to strive for.
Yeah, that's hands down. I think that's a safe to say answer for both of us is Middle Earth.
Middle Earth.
Yeah.
All right.
Solid. I like that one. Cool. So I have the honor of asking the last question, and pretty much everybody says it's the most important question. What is your favorite color?
Blue.
Orange.
Like, I would say for blue, somewhere like a teal aqua, like a lighter blue.
Ooh. Yeah.
Blue's ugly. He's wrong. It's orange.
What the fuck? Those colors go so well together. That's why every fucking movie poster is blue and orange. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
No, I just hate blue as a color. I don't know why.
Friendship
My
ended.
favorite color is
Why?
orange forever.
Orange? Okay.
All right.
But they're such complementary colors, which is why this friendship works.
It depends on
Oh,
the
yeah.
shade of blue.
Sure, and I think those lighter blues are the better blues.
I have to agree.
I do agree.
Except navy blue. Navy blue has a special place in my heart.
So navy blue is the exception. I'm down with navy blue,
Yeah.
but then it's like teal, aqua, like bright
Exactly.
blue.
So many other options
that's-
with lighter blues.
Like robin's
Green.
egg blue.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I forgot about Robin's Egg.
That's for like edging
Like-
on green blues.
It's like
That's not
pastel
true
blues. It's like pastel blues.
It's getting close to the line, but it hasn't crossed it.
Right, exactly.
It's
It's
still technically blue.
bluish. Bluish.
It has a higher blue level than green.
Hell yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, as Glory said, that is all the questions we have for you guys. Is there anything you would like to plug?
Yes, let's plug a few good records.bandcamp.com. That's where you can listen to everything we've put out, plus some hand-picked selections of older stuff. My old band is nowhere to be found, but anything else we released from our friend James, the Against Me comp from back in the day. I just don't think the old band stuff was any good, to be honest with you, so it's just scrubbed. But all the compilations from the last year and a half are there. We will have the cassette copies of the Wonder Years compilation. Depending on where you're listening, they're up now. And you can find us both on Twitter. I'm on Twitter and Instagram at A Few Good Yabs. Ari's on Twitter at Mike Yabs, because she stole my old handle when I changed it.
Nice.
That was a whole thing. You can reach out if you think being involved with some of the stuff we do is really cool. You can reach out via email either at afewgoodrecords@gmail.com or Ari afewgoodrecords@gmail.com. We're both pretty quick on the reply, and those are dedicated accounts for the label, so nothing hits junk or spam folders by any stretch.
And if anyone likes the artwork I do for the label, please let me know.
Yes, if anybody sees what Ari's done and likes it, she's absolutely open for work for that. If she doesn't have to work a real job and can just do art stuff, that would be cool. But
Definitely.
Yeah. So thank you for sitting down.
make her degree worth it. Like,
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. So thank you for sitting down with us. As Glory said, we love the work that you guys are doing. I think it's really cool.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
I
Yeah.
know you had a couple of the artists on the Wonder Years comp on your
did.
podcast
Yes.
recently.
Yeah.
You had, what did you have? Drive Kid and Nude Shoes on?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, excellent.
Yeah.
Both of them were fantastic to work with. They were very easy to communicate with. They hit deadlines the
Yeah.
way I would like bands to do.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that was awesome. Super down to work with either of them again in the future.
All right.
But thanks for having us, guys. This was
Yeah,
great.
thank you so much for having us.
Yeah. So thank you
Thanks
for
for
coming
sitting down.
on. Yeah. Thank you for sitting down with us. This has been A Few Good Records, and we're the Good Noise Podcast.